Hello, everybody. Welcome to Space Zambonie. My name is Alex.
I'm Matt.
So this is the November episode for our podcast. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Today we have a very special guest, Jack.
Hello.
If you want, please feel free to give as much background on yourself as you want.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course.
My name is Jack. I'm 22 years old, and I'm a filmmaker and herbalist. We were just talking prior to shooting this. I got like two halves of myself. I've been making feature-length films since I was 9 years old. Just really kind of bringing that film talent out at such a very young age. I remember even at like the age of 10, I was shooting films on like VHS cameras. Like,
Yeah.
What are those anymore? I think it was like the last like little kick of like VHS that was still out there. I don't know if you remember those little cassette tapes.
Yep, 100%.
But my friends and I used to go around and shoot like hour-and-a-half long films on these cassette tapes. Like, obviously if you have to retake something, you have to rewind back and record over it. So I mean, like, it was like, you think, wow, those big cassette tapes, like they had those little cassette ones. Anyway, after that, I just started kind of around the age of, I would say, 11 or 12. I started really writing my own stuff, writing scripts. Creating stories, more of a story. We used to make stories when I was younger, but like really developing the pre-production craft of film by studying, storytelling and how a story should be played out. There's certain levels to storytelling, surprisingly, that people don't really know, like how you have to execute certain things. And then it was around the age of 14 that I released my first film on YouTube to the public, which I guess we will talk about eventually as we get there. From there, the years went on. I kept making more and more films. I went to film school in 2016 for about 2 years, and then I dropped out. And the reason I dropped out was because my focus somehow shifted in probably a matter of 24 hours or 48 hours into the world of documentary making and herbal medicine in specific. Learning about plants, learning about nature, the ecosystem, and really educating people about it, which, again, we'll talk about as well for sure. Yeah. So it's cool how, like, now there's the filmmaking aspect of myself and then the herbalist aspect of myself, and they both kind of complement each other in a very strange way. So that's me.
Back in the day, like, we used to make videos together, like, way back.
Sunday morning pre-recorded.
Yeah. We had this show, it was called Sunday Morning Pre-Recorded, like, the opposite of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing we recorded was an Enzyte commercial, where it was like, "There's something different about Tony," and it's like he's very clearly
a water bottle in his
pants. So like we started way back, like doing stuff like that. So, and my brother made like this Batman fan film.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah, it was called Batman Within the Shadows of Gotham, or at the time, Whitsog.
Wow. Okay.
So, this long ass title, but he filmed that movie from about the time I was in middle school to when I was like mid-high school.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I go from being like this little kid, and then 2 scenes later I'm like an adult, like wearing this costume that's just way too tight on me.
Continuity error, right?
Yeah.
That's how you can tell that time has passed.
So
there you go.
we love like that whole aspect of like creating and just showing
passion project.
100%.
Passion project.
100%.
That's what rules the world.
So yeah, me and Matt did our research before having you on. We watched the Slash films.
Yeah, we watched all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we also watched the Red Rose.
Red Rose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we
And
watched
the Mortal Kombat fan film.
Oh, where did you guys find that
On YouTube.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube now?
yeah, it's on
Oh,
YouTube.
man.
So
Okay.
we went to watch the Slash films first.
Yeah.
Because we're like, all right, we want to talk about this.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're like in the know. And then Matt like pulled you up on IMDb, and it had like the Red Rose, and we're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, my hidden little project.
Yeah. And then we saw that you worked on the Mortal Kombat one too. So we're like, oh, dope, we gotta watch all this now.
Yeah, we gotta be
man.
like, who are you in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
I appreciate
we're
that,
we're
guys.
keeping an eye out for you. Like, what is he doing this?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Oh gosh, that makes me so happy.
So how did you get into, like, you're a fan of Scream?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. That Wes Craven is. I mean, at first, like, so he did Last House on the Left. That was his first like project. Or you know what? I think it was The Hills Have Eyes, and then it was Last House on the Left. It was making, Nightmare on Elm Street. Everyone knows that film, which kind of took on its own life after that first one, and then he came back years later and he directed New Nightmare, which was kind of like a weird, like, outside of the movie type
very
thing.
Very meta.
Yeah, it was very interesting. But then after that, it kind of was like he lost that title of, like, horror god, horror genius, because he did a lot of, like, rom-com stuff, and it just got a little weird, funky, and stuff like that. So what was cool about Scream and seeing that was kind of like his refresher into that genre. I mean, if you watch that film, like, there's something so unique about that film, and I know a lot of people like don't like it because it has that comedic aspect to it.
Yeah.
But if you really, look at it from an outside perspective and you listen to the dialogue that Kevin Williamson wrote, very meta, very not taking itself too seriously, very smart and witty.
Yeah.
And that was the film, hands down, that not only inspired me to, like, really start making films, especially like a fan film, but also to develop the writing style myself of just very, like, hip in the dialogue and not just writing lines just to write lines and get a point across, but, like, be very poetic with them. Every single line in your film, be poetic with it, and really just almost like an elegant dance. That's how I would describe that film.
Yeah.
And his writing in particular, because it's there's a flow to it. Like, you watch it and it's like, whoa, it carries the scene across, the whole film across. It's just very fascinating. So that is one of the probably the main inspiration of developing my own passion for screenwriting, as well as really opened up the true path to my filmmaking journey, I would say.
That's great.
Would say,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because, like, even when we watched your movies, I think the most important thing that we had throughout all of it is, like, just how much fun we had watching it.
Yep.
It's like you have the fun horror elements, you have the meta stuff, and the whole time we're like, there's a scene where you could be laughing, or there's a scene where it's like, you guys take yourself super serious in some scenes and then, like, easygoing or, like, whatever in other scenes, and it's like very cool and just fun to experience.
I read a review online for the first one the other day, and someone wrote, Slash is a unique blend of indie horror which truly shows the awkwardness of young teenagers trying to be understood. And I was like, ooh, okay. If you watch those films, hey, I mean, I was young and awkward when I was in them, it's I had never really acted in front of the screen at that point before. I was always directing. Yeah. So it was interesting to, like, actually be a part of it and to be young and awkward and to document my awkward youthness in it, because I look back at that now and I'm like, oh my God almighty,
Yeah, even when we were talking about it, you're like, I promise, like, what I'm doing now is way better. And I'm like, nah, dude, it was fun.
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, it's interesting to, like, look at my work now, obviously, and then to look back at that, which really, I guess, you don't count when I was 9 years old as, like, a true start. It was, but something to release like that was really the truest start of, like, my first project. So to look at it, it's now 8 years now. It's 2013. I was 14 years old.
That's crazy.
Just turned 14, or maybe I was 13 turning 14. Like, I'll always have that, and that'll always be, it's good. Even when I'm not here anymore, man. Like, that's going to be on the eternal net somewhere. So my little legacy.
That's so funny because to document it, one thing is cool, and then you have all these other people who are like doing stupid shit. And they're like, it'll be there forever. So it's good that when you're putting this stuff out, you're creating, like, a little legacy for yourself, and then when you are in Hollywood and you're doing these crazy things, either if it's documentaries on Netflix, HBO, whatever, about like the things you love, you're gonna look back and be like, hey, this is where I started. And for me, like, I started with animation.
Okay.
I did that when I was in 3rd grade because my brother came home. He's like, I got this cool animation program. You got to try it out. I'm like, oh, dope. He goes, when I was in school, like, I tried it out. I made Scooby-Doo licking his face. I went, cool. He goes, all right, you try it. I'm like, perfect. So I animate it, show him. He goes, that's way better than mine. You're going to animate my cartoon.
Yeah.
I went, where's yours? He goes, don't worry about it. I'm like, wait, I don't even believe that you did yours. And then, like, looking back now at what I created back then, me personally, I'm like,
I still like the stuff that he
exactly.
did back in the day. It's funny.
But it's still
It's
like
fun.
other people have that
You gotta start somewhere.
appreciation for it, which is so cool. So
and to,
go ahead, 100%.
Like, look back at like those old projects and like not take them too seriously because like that's the thing about those projects that I released on YouTube is like they're not supposed to be serious. Like they're supposed to be fun and like, oh my gosh, these kids made this, like, you know, we're hanging people on wheelchairs at 15 years old and like an old man's like sawing them up, you know, like they pulled that off, you know, like that's fascinating, you know. I look at it and I'm like, I pulled that off. Like, I didn't have any waivers when I did that. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, whoa.
And the locations are cool too. Because you went to like, it was like, wow, that's dope.
Transition.
We did have 2 questions, embracing the funness of it.
Man,
All right. So the first scene that I literally like died laughing is when you guys had the party scene.
Yeah, with the little kid.
Yeah, and you had like, I was like, I want to know the story behind this kid.
To Jamie Lee. To Jamie Lee, and you have the little kid
but
partying
the little
with
kid
like
was
the
there
drinking
too, and we're like, what's the story behind this kid? Like, how did he get cast for that party scene?
Oh my god.
When do we get to see Jamie Lee's breasts?
Well, not in the Halloween franchise, but her real first new film was Trading Places.
Cheers to Jamie Lee!
Cheers!
His name was Jack Cullinan.
Yeah.
And he drove all the way from Tennessee.
Oh my god!
Holy
And his father in like this minivan, and there was a bed in the back of the minivan.
That's
They were, like, the kid would sleep while the dad was driving him there.
Yeah.
We only called him in. We shot all the scenes in 3 days. We
oh my god!
called him in because we started production in February of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
We called him in for 1 day in April of 2015, which is actually a scene that was deleted. We shot a scene that day that was not in the film. Later on, as the film went on, we called him up in June of 2015 for that whole finale scene where he comes back to Amesbury with Jack's mom, and you know, they're all kind of hanging out, and then it goes into that whole finale thing. The way that we casted him was on a website called IMDb. They have a pro side of it where people can throw out casting calls. You can submit your own film on there, throw a little description of the character, the name and whatnot, and I found him on there. And prior to that, he had done like some extra work for like Blue Bloods and stuff like that. Everybody that's on there has done something with Blue Bloods.
That's
man.
cool.
Like, I've never seen the show, but everyone's on Blue Bloods, you know. So he was on there, and I was like, here, you know, read this line. You know, I usually did video submissions instead of having in-person things. The only time I did it one time where we rented something out in the city and we did in-person stuff.
Okay.
It was just a video audition. There was just something about, like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because he carried the same awkwardness as my character did in the movie. And I was like, you know what, this kid would be a really good fit for Jack's cousin in the film, you know. So I was like, I think I'm talking about myself in the third person now. But yeah, I that's how we casted him. IMDb Pro. It was cool because it was easy video audition. He was awesome. Eager for work. Cool. He was like, sure, I'll make the drive. You know, a lot of these actors are very eager for work, so they jump on any opportunity they get. You know, I said, you know, this is a not paying role. Like, this is total. This is not even low budget. This is below low budget. You know, I will give you demo reel footage and stuff like that. You know, but that's the only payment that I can give right now. Mm-hmm. And they jumped on it. They're like, that's it, man.
Crazy.
Absolutely,
that's nuts.
That's really good.
So that was him. Yeah. Why, you guys liked him? You like?
That was just so funny. It's just like, what's going on with this kid? Like, Jamie Lee.
It was at the party scene that we're like, wait. But it was awesome.
Is this a scene that she's naked in?
Man. Yeah. Jesus.
And then the other one we wanted to ask you about was
the cousin scene.
Yeah.
The like in the bathtub.
Oh man.
That was the only other one that we're like, we got it now.
Yeah.
The most controversial scene, I guess, in those movies is that scene where the two cousins are literally...
Yeah.
It's time for you to give the fans what they've been waiting for, Jack. They're all still waiting.
What's that?
A satisfying ending. What we've all been waiting for, Jack.
In the bathtub together.
And she's a
and
ghost.
That is,
Yeah.
I can't give too much away in this podcast because that is actually going to be explained in this new one.
Wow!
So
all right.
it's
That's
cool
great.
because there was a little bit of an Easter egg of some incestual stuff that was happening with these characters.
Yeah,
It was
big time.
like, whoa, you know,
Yeah.
this is a little weird now.
Yeah.
That carries through in this new one.
That's awesome.
So it's
I can't wait to see.
yeah, man. It's. I would guess I would put a bookmark in that one
All
for
right.
sure.
Beautiful.
You will
Sounds
see it.
good.
We'll refer to this later.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
About /4 Remember the Ghost, right?
Yes.
How did you create that inception into that idea of... Did it start as Remember the Ghost? Did it start as /4? Or was it something separate first and became...
Oh, my God.
Is the cousin the ghost?
Segue, man. Good segue.
Yeah.
So what's funny is 2.5 years ago, I started to write a film called Macabre.
Mm-hmm.
With writing, and at this point I had taken like 2 years off of film school to nurture that plant side of myself.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there one summer and it was like emotionally it was just a very heavy summer. You know, like I was going through a lot. Personally, just trying to find a real path with this plant footing. And I was like, you know what? It's always good to like channel a side of your soul back that you haven't used in so long. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write another movie. Why not? Was gonna make it low budget again, just for fun, basically. I started writing this script called Macabre, which was about a young group of teens that took place over the course of 24 hours, where a satanic cult starts to make their way into this very small town. And starts to basically kill people and eat them to consume their adrenaline.
Okay.
The way that it was written was basically this cult would make its way into its town, it would kill its victims, like I said, and the way that they were going to describe the reason why they did it was because when they say when you consume somebody or whatnot, you absorb their adrenaline, and it fueled them. They created a religion off of that. I started writing it. We actually started shooting it. We got a couple people, and then all of a sudden COVID came.
COVID.
And everything kind of flipped upside down. Yeah, the holy grail at this point, right?
Yeah.
Had to stop production. So I'm sitting there in quarantine. I'm like, oh, what do I do with myself now? You know what I mean? This like just like probably what everyone felt. Like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to, look inside and feel myself? Am I supposed to, go deep into the depths of my soul?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting I'm sitting there and I start binging those old movies again, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't like how I ended that third movie, because even, 5 years since then, I still ask the question of, did Jack survive that, or did he die, or like if he did die, like what kind of an ending was that? Like I kind of let people down. People were pissed when they saw
Really?
that.
I thought that one was a lot of fun.
It was very out of left field, so I was proud of it, but people were not happy about that.
Wow, that's very surprising.
And then after a while, I kind of grew not happy with it, because like, you know what? I used to be the kind of guy that liked endings that were just like out of left field.
Yeah.
And, like,
What a twist.
I like a well-rounded ending now. For some reason, I like that, you know? So I'm sitting there in quarantine, and I'm looking over this script that I had written for Macabre, and I was like, you know what? I could make a somewhat /4 out of this film, still using the same premise as Macabre, but inserting the Roar Drive storyline in it. Now, I don't think it really deserves the title of /4 Remember the Ghosts. I think it is just called Remember the Ghosts because...
Beautiful.
It is, although it is a continuation of some of the characters that were in those films, like Jack, like Jonathan, all these characters that, like, you know, either we thought died or, you know, are still alive, but we don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
It basically, I will give you the premise now of Remember the Ghost.
Cool.
The official premise. I don't think, I was going to make a video about this last night on YouTube, but I didn't, so hey, I'll announce it here. Right? Yeah, right? Okay, hey man, alright. So basically what it is, it follows Jack Anderson 7 years later, excuse me. Mm-hmm. He survived the slit throat, man. Mm-hmm. Like, hey,
yeah,
I guess it's possible. I looked it up, it's possible.
It works.
Survived it. Has healed somewhat from his past, has developed a passion for herbalism. I based him off of myself. Awesome. It's easier to play that way. Developed a passion for herbalism, has started to help people move past traumas themselves, only to be triggered by this cult moving its way into town and starting to kidnap the people that that he loves, you know, the new people that he formed to love, because he lost so many people. They make their way into this town. They start kidnapping people. People start disappearing one by one. However, there's no bodies. There's no bodies. So it's more of like a mind game type thing. Like, well, what is going on? Pictures of Jack Anderson and the original victims start appearing at all of these crime scene locations where, you know, there's blood, there's broken glass, there's no bodies, but clearly something happened here. It is now up to him, a retired police officer, and some of his friends to now find who is responsible for all of these disappearances without getting the authorities involved, because they are being threatened now that if they get the authorities involved, things will go downhill. I won't say much more than that, but all I can say is that Jack's father, who we found out was the ringleader in /3, has something to do with this. So it's not over yet. It's somewhat of a continuation, but also if you haven't seen those first 3 movies, you would still be able to understand this. Perfect. It's like its own thing. And we're going with the festival route with this one. So it's kind of like, awesome. You know, we send it out to film festivals, and then, you know, hey, we maybe get money to reshoot it, or then we just release it on YouTube.
If you had like an unlimited budget, what would you do with this movie?
Oh man, jeez. If I had an unlimited budget, I would not hold myself back with writing the script. Because the sad thing about making an indie film is you have to unfortunately hold yourself back with storytelling, because you can't pull off certain things without a budget. So I would completely probably revamp the script and bump its intensity up by 110%.
That's perfect. And you would cast Tom Cruise as who?
I would cast Tom Cruise as probably the sheriff.
Wow. Beautiful.
The sheriff.
You guys heard it here first. So we actually had a horror movie pitch too that we wanted to give to you.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
So, Matt, do you want to take the lead?
Horror movie pitch?
Yeah.
Which one? Oh! Yeah!
I like how that did it.
Yeah.
It's like, ha ha
ha. Okay, so we have a slasher film that we were thinking of.
Okay.
And it was gonna be baby hands killers, so a person with like extremely small hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these people have like really tiny choke marks on their necks and things like that, dying all over the place mysteriously. And the movie was going to be called, I liked your idea where it's called Choking Hazard, which is a common thing for young kids.
Yeah. Because he's going around,
the baby hand killer.
He's going around choking people with his little baby hands.
Wow. So what are his motives? Like, what are his motives?
We haven't fleshed that one out yet. Yeah, he's got baby hands and he knows how to use them.
Wow.
They made fun of my hands for so long.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, there you go.
The victims start disappearing.
He's trying to make the perfect hands.
The perfect hands. Yeah. Cut his own off and then sew them back on. Right?
Originally, we were gonna make like a fake trailer to show you.
Yeah.
But
you bought the hands. They're upstairs.
I even bought the little.
They had 2 left hands.
Yeah. Oh
and they only did rock, paper, scissors. I was like, this can't be done.
Hey man, after some of the stuff that's coming out in theaters today, I think that would be a box office seller, man. I think people would pay to go see that.
We're gonna have you on it, dude. That's
Okay, I'll direct it. I'll direct it if you guys want, man. I'll do it.
We appreciate it.
Why not, right? Shit, don't star in it.
I don't know if you've seen like these crazy horror movies, but we did have a trailer we wanted to show you. Do we have time?
We're at the 25-minute mark.
25-minute mark.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we have like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
so have you ever heard of Handjob Cabin?
No, I haven't. Let's watch it. I'll watch it.
You're in for a treat.
So this was a horror movie trailer, way better than Baby Hands.
Oh,
or sorry,
yeah.
Choking Hazard.
Hands.
My apologies.
I like Baby Hands too. It reminds me of like that one guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the lawyer. That's like, can you put your hands over mine?
So all I want to do is just show you this, and
Sure.
we could react on it together because this was, I think, it was just like a fake trailer of if these people could make a movie, this is what they would make.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it.
Handjob Cabin. Very cabin in the woods-esque. You show up, you think it's normal.
Yeah.
The teenage angst and romance.
Woo!
And I think I would love to see this as a full movie.
If they did this,
Yeah.
I would definitely pay to buy it to like go to the.
Oh
This is
my
the most
God.
ridiculous thing. Oh my god.
I would shoot this movie.
We'll just pull a Hollywood move. We'll call it like Handjob Cabin 5,
Yeah.
and we'll make our own.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Dan, remember this one? We get demonetized.
Yeah.
When I'm asked, well, why were we demonetized?
We didn't make it.
We just showed it.
We're just promoting it.
Yeah. I can play this guy. I'll wear a beanie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it.
She doesn't use lotion.
Classic line.
Normally, when someone receives one, they just hate it. They die. It's all hurtful.
It's actually kind of Jay chilling with that ghost,
Yeah.
though.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
She's the only one who comes in this cat.
Oh my god. Oh shit. That's stellar.
This is such a great, like, B-movie concept.
Yeah.
I would put money into this movie.
Right? Yeah.
Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Porno
yeah.
vibe. Yeah. That's what it reminds me
For
of.
the ad break.
Yeah, all right.
You're running out of time.
No worries. We'll be right back right after the ad break, and then we'll be talking about the other side of Jack, which is plants and herbalism and a bunch of cool different things. Much
Sounds
love,
good.
and we'll see you guys right after the ad break.
See you guys in a bit.
everyone, it's Alex from Space Zambonie. We hope you've been enjoying everything that you've been seeing so far in Season 2, including the D&D podcast and so much more on the channel. So we've been working super hard to make sure we can keep having things for you on the channel. Now, some of you might be asking, wait a second, how can we support you? How can we help you? All two of you asking. If you guys want, we just dropped a whole bunch of new content on our shop. That's spacezamboni.com/shop. Now that I'm done talking about myself, let's talk about Audible. Thank you very kindly, Audible, our sponsor, for helping us, create these videos. And Audible is not just a fun place to listen to audiobooks. No. It's a fun place to listen to all kinds of audio entertainment. You hear me? All kinds of audio entertainment. New York Times. You have books. You could read about Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, but guess what? You don't have to read it. You can listen to it. If you go to audibletrial.com/spacezamboni and try out Audible, you can actually get credits which allow you to get Audible originals as well as actual audio entertainment. So please check it out. Check out Audible. Check out spacezamboni.com/shop, and we'll see you next time. Woo!
Hello, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the ad break. I wish I knew what was there, but I don't. So, Jack, I want you to get into like the other side of what you do and
Sure, yeah.
dive right in.
So I dropped out of filmmaking somewhat. I guess not so much anymore. But we'll channel back 3 years ago and act like this time is what happened. 2017, I dropped out of film school. I felt like there was no real need for me in film school. I was sitting in class and I was like, you know what, like, I'm not about structure. I'm not a structured person. Okay, so, like, to me, like, when I dropped out of it, I just was like, you know what, if I want to continue this as a passion, I've always got it. I always have it. I don't need to sit and have a degree for it. So, at that point, I had slowly started to develop this passion for the earth and for spirit and for human development and, thinking about the future of humanity, what it's going to be like in 100 years from now or 200 years from now. And it started to scare me, quite honestly.
You just said that and it scared me.
It really
I was like, oh shit, I
don't think that far ahead.
100 years.
Yeah, it really sent me on a little bit of like an ego death. And at this point, I had known a doctor who was, right out of film school at this time, I had known a doctor who runs an eco tour in Jamaica every year. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should get into more like documentary making, educating people about the world instead of, making slasher movies. Yeah. And, which in a way, if you really think about it, there is no benefit to the human consciousness for those movies, even though they're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Just distracts from all the...
Yeah. As with
distracts from the 100 years.
Hey, it's a powerful distraction, man, yeah. So I approached him with this idea of, hey, I'm really looking into documentary making. I know you've created this somewhat of a small legacy of bringing people to the island of Jamaica and leading eco tours and educating people about Rastafarian culture and about plant medicine. So I was like, you know what, let me direct a documentary on it. Let me go and experience this myself, and then you can use it to promote your tours at that point. It's like a win-win type thing. You pay for my trip, I give you this, and you
that's great.
Promote it. So, in March of 2018, that was when the trip was, I went there, documented the entire trip, lived with the Rastas for about a week and a half. I did not expect the twist that it would have on my life in a week and a half. When I got there and I witnessed how, because we went to St. Mary, which is like the quiet side of the island of Jamaica. Like there's no tourism there. It is like rainforest, jungle, primitive. So I'm sitting there and I'm there with my camera and I'm filming everything, and I'm witnessing these men that grew up in the jungle, in the earth, witnessing how they literally communicated with nature.
That's awesome.
And with the plants and with medicine, and how they didn't have a pharmacy. They didn't have a doctor. If they had an ailment, if they had like a cut on their leg, they would go in and they'd grab some leaf of life, or they'd grab some allspice, and they would make a poultice out of it and apply it right on, and it would be healed instantly.
Wow.
In a week and a half, my entire life switched upside down. Shooting that documentary was probably the single most meaningful experience of my entire life. I was sitting there, towards the end of the trip, after just trying to absorb the plethora of knowledge that was just offered to me. And I was thinking about home where I lived, and I was like, we lack this back in the U.S. A majority of the world lacks this.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? If there's medicine growing here, I guarantee you there is medicine growing at home. I mean, you think about Native Americans and indigenous culture, that's all they used was plant medicine. They knew how to forage plants, how to eat plants, how to cook them. The state of the world, obviously, right now we don't even need to bring it up, but I mean it's not good right now.
Yeah,
it's very sad.
You can't even see plants.
No. I mean,
it's honest.
It's a rare find.
Yeah, they're like, don't go outside, don't look at plants.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at plants, you've gone too far.
Right. Go to work, go 9 to 5, go home, and then die.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not going to sugarcoat it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there in Jamaica, and I'm like, you know what? I dropped out of filmmaking. It is now up to me as a pioneer for this young generation to be their guidance and to educate myself so that I could educate others on plants. Because who knows what's going to happen in the future? This may be a very, very, very powerful survival skill that each and every one of us either, we perish or survive. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't come that far, it's not only, you think about indigenous cultures, we are the earth, we are biologically the earth. If we weren't biologically the earth, we wouldn't be able to exist on this planet. Our bodies are programmed so that we can exist on this planet.
Yeah.
So to connect to the earth itself, you're not only connecting to her, your home, but you're also connecting to an ancient side of yourself that has been dormant for so many years. I mean, my God, we have receptors in our body to consume certain plants, so that alone should be evidence, but some people are just like, receptors, what are you talking about? Like, open your eyes.
Yeah.
So I came back from Jamaica. That entire spring and summer, I was out in nature every single day, almost every single day, studying plants, studying their constituents, studying their purpose.
Yeah.
Basically completely fueling myself on that knowledge so that I could help this humanity evolve. But it wasn't for myself. It wasn't like, I'm gaining this knowledge, I could make money off of a tour. I've started giving tours as of now, but this is not my knowledge. Mm-hmm. This is not anybody's knowledge. This is the Earth's knowledge that needs to get out there now in specific. Because if it doesn't, we're going to go down a very bad path. This needs to get out there now. It belongs to every single one of us. If you believe in past lives or not, if you do, we all have done this for thousands of lifetimes prior, living in primitive times. It's written in our soul, the plant and human connection. So to educate yourself about this and to utilize it for your own benefit is probably one of the most single important things that you could ever do for yourself.
Yeah.
And that is what inspired me to create Powerful Plant Allies.
Very, very well said. Very seriously. Now, there's two things I'd like to bring up. One is that we have friends, mentioning like this trip and stuff, that we have friends called the Only Love Foundation.
Oh, nice.
So what they do is they go to Africa and they build schools, right? So they always want people to like come on these trips and stuff. And if you ever want, I'll hook you guys up because I bet they would seriously love to have someone with that mindset and personality to go out.
Yeah,
big time. Because it's seriously outstanding. And the second thing is more in terms of like things that people don't even think about. But my brother told me a while back, he's like, did you know that when you mow the lawn, that smell of the grass, is not actually just freshly mowed lawn. It's grass warning other grass that, yo, bitches, we about to get mowed.
Danger.
Yeah, I was like, what? Things people don't even think about.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to show the intro to your
absolutely
the Powerful Plant Allies YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. Because it's very powerful stuff, and it's such a different side of like thinking and knowing.
Greetings, everybody. Namaste.
Great. Also, I like the long hair. Before we dive into it, I like the long hair, Jack. Even
I was gonna grow it out, but hey.
In the B-roll footage you showed too, I was like, hey, long hair Jack, that looks very wise.
Yeah, for sure.
Greetings, everybody. Namaste. We're here in nature, surrounded by a bunch of beautiful plant allies. We've got some chickweed, some mugwort, some yellow dock, some stinging nettle. We've got some red clover right here.
Do you feel like you can communicate with like nature better?
Yes, and we'll touch upon that for sure after this.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So much studying plant medicine, connecting with plants, connecting with the earth, that is something that is so ancient, and it's in every one of us. I think that right now, in the world that we're living in, we're lacking it. They're lacking that connection to the
What's
earth.
the sign on the necklace, by the way? Because I just know that as a Crash Bandicoot relic.
Really? It's Egyptian.
I didn't know. I have no clue. I just know it's in Crash Bandicoot.
It's the symbol for eternal life.
Going out
Life
into
forever.
the
Wow.
natural world, into the forest,
That's
into
awesome.
the jungle, into the rainforests all over, and really
That's great.
connecting with the plants in
See,
their
good
natural
question.
habitat. And if we're really going to rekindle that connection to nature, it's going to be by bringing others out and showing them the plants in their natural habitat. So that's why I wanted to create this channel, because I wanted to give kind of a virtual view for people that can't get out for whatever reason on some of the plant
And does the
medicine
original
that either might have
documentary also
locally
exist
or in other
to be
different
viewed
parts
that
of
you
the world.
created?
There are other ways that you
Jamaica
can
one?
teach
Yeah.
yourself to
It's
do
very
it.
close to being
I highly
finished.
recommend
Okay,
it.
fantastic.
In post right now, yeah.
That's great.
Very soon.
It's really great to go with them and walk with them. They'll take you out into nature. You'll see a lot of the plants and stuff like that. Or what's most rewarding of all, which is how I taught myself, is getting a local foraging book and going out into nature yourself. The more you go out into nature, the more you start looking for plants, the more they're going to communicate with you. Everywhere you look, they're going to appear. Everywhere you look, there's going to be plant medicine. So going out into nature, you're not only educating yourself and rekindling that ancient side of yourself that's within all of us,
Is that Jaca?
but you're also connecting with the plants.
That
and
is
developing
jackfruit.
and
Yeah,
creating
yeah,
the
Brazil,
ability
it's
to
jaca.
cultivate
Yeah.
plants.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that what? Yeah,
yeah,
that's it, yeah.
yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that. That's awesome, man.
And our plant-human connection.
My
stems
dad
back
went to Stop and
thousands
Shop
of
when
years to
they
ancient
started selling
times,
it here.
even
Yeah,
before
dude,
we even
And he's
had
like,
plants
they
in
didn't
the
have, they had no
tropical
clue what the hell it was.
So that is the
So he goes,
purpose
yeah,
of
this is a
channel.
watermelon.
I hope that you
They
find
put the
information
watermelon
in this
price on it.
channel.
They're like, here you go.
No way.
Yeah.
See,
And
that's the
share
thing,
with
man.
others,
People don't know this
because
stuff.
that's really
Yeah,
what it's
people
all
don't even know what it is. Like, oh, spiky
What
ball.
is this thing, you know?
Yeah.
So what we learn from the plants is our obligation to share it
See
with
that
others,
plant right
to
there
share
on the
it with
right?
the world.
Yeah.
Because
That
we
is
are
called
lacking
that's
that
chocolate right
connection
there.
now.
That is called
That's our
stinging
job
nettle.
as herbalists,
And if you
as
touch
plant
that stem
enthusiasts,
without
as crazy
boiling
plant
it,
people,
you will literally
to
inject
rekindle
poison
that love
into your skin,
everything in
and your
nature, because
skin
we are
will
one
literally
and
be
we're
burning
connected
for
with
5
everything.
days.
Oh my god.
See you along
But
the
it is
journey,
one of the
and,
most nutritious and powerful plants
going.
on this planet right now.
That is
So,
insane.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
Very
insane.
high in iron, antioxidants, super powerful, and right here in our backyard.
Fantastic. If anyone is currently watching, you guys find this interesting, please like check out the channel and 100% subscribe, because this is like it's crazy. It's really cool. And
You need to know this knowledge.
yeah. So me trying to learn this knowledge immediately, I will ask. Okay, my wife cannot plant a thing without it dying. Our neighbors have like this long tomato plant, and they're like, we've been growing it for years.
Wow.
It's beautiful, and it like grows over the fence, and they're like, we just need you to water it. And it's like,
Oh man.
so she had a cactus,
Yeah.
which she was told it's the hardest thing to mistreat.
Yeah, exactly.
It was dying. So how does she do a thumb transplant so she could have a green thumb?
What I would recommend, and this goes into scientific study as well,
Yeah.
and it's gonna sound crazy because we've been so cut off from it for so long, but if you come at a plant with a loving nature. Plants are beings, and they are probably the most intelligent beings on this planet. I don't care about, the people who are like, oh, humans are.
Yeah,
no,
humans,
plants
dolphins,
are. Yeah, plants are. They are, because they are nothing but pure stillness, pure love, pure telepathy. When I started learning plants, it's as if every time I walk out in nature now, they speak to me. It's like everywhere I look, I'm like, I'm walking up, my eyes are pulled here. Oh, that's because plantain is here,
That's
and
awesome.
It's like, hey,
Yeah,
use
really
me,
cool.
They will literally start to speak to you. If you have a plant at home, and I have had this happen to me before, and you neglect it, and you kind of like put in your mind, like, oh, I don't really like how this plant looks, so I'm just not going to give it as much attention. It will sense that, and it will completely just reverse its own molecular structure based on your own thoughts. So a recommendation that I would give to somebody is come at it with a loving intention. That this is a living being that can read your energy and read your presence right next to it, even though it can't say, hi there,
Yeah.
It's there. And if you attune yourself to the plant, if you sit next to it and you really feel its presence next to you, it will speak to you, and it will tell you what it needs. I'm not saying go that far with it.
I'm about to have you over in like a week and pre-game my plants.
Dude, I will take you as I'm walking out to my car later. I will show you 5 plants that are probably growing in the cracks of your driveway.
That would be fantastic.
But come at it with a loving approach. That this is a living creature, basically.
Big time.
It doesn't breathe. I mean, it does breathe. We rely on plants. The oxygen in this room that we're breathing right now is from a plant.
Yep.
They have given us this. Everything in life we rely on for them. Talk about plant-human connection. Come at it with a loving approach. It will thrive. I promise you.
No, fantastic. Dude, believe me, 100%. I will talk. I will do whatever.
Sing to them, man.
Because to me, even if I come to the plants of like this loving nature and I grow like this big old tree, and my wife is like, "Hey, what's going on with that tree back there?" Like, "Hey, that's my love."
You cheating on me?
And the other thing she wanted me to tell you is that when she waters it, it's like fire, not water. But she really does. It's. I feel bad because she really does come with it with
loves
such
her plants.
love, and like she just tries and.
I'll come over, man. I'll teach a class. I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I'll do it.
So the other thing I wanted to touch upon too is that I found out you play guitar.
I do, man. Yeah. It's that's been kind of like a somewhat like side passion of mine that like I guess erupted the same time as this plant passion.
Yeah.
It was like weird because like when this plant passion erupted, it was like a whole upbringing of like my soul came out. And I picked up the guitar, and something felt very familiar about it, as if I had played this like 1,000 times before. I picked it up in like 2 days, man, like 2 days,
That's
as if like I had never even touched it in this lifetime prior to that, and it just goes to say like, after we pass over in this lifetime, like, I don't think at least that it's the end. I think that we get an unlimited amount of chances, and an example as close as that is when I picked up the guitar. Like I said, the most familiar thing I've ever experienced was picking up that guitar and saying, you know what, I've done this before. And it just kind of erupted into a passion of mine.
It's the coolest thing. You go to a museum, and I was telling Matt this before, and we had like a deep conversation, but no matter where you go, what part of the world, they all created music. Yeah. It's like every single one of them. It's like beating on a drum or whatever.
That's
like
the oldest language.
The belly drums. It's like everything. It's like, every civilization ever created music.
Well, think about it. Rhythm is what basically moves this planet. If you look into like vibrational frequency, the waves, the pulsation of life. So like when you play music and you create harmony yourself, it not only benefits or heals you, but it benefits your ecosystem as well, because rhythm is the most natural thing in reality, because that's what we are. We are rhythm, we are pulsation, we're vibration.
Yeah.
We've all tapped into it at some point or another, so.
And Universe is the one song, right?
Exactly. The most beautiful song. The most beautiful song.
So it's very cool, and I love that stuff. Yeah. I wanted to give extra time for this today, too, because I have a feeling that with the spirituality and everything else, you probably had a bunch of different spiritual occurrences in terms of ghost stories.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I give him extra time on purpose. All right,
Amen.
dude. I want to. We got to hear him. Every podcast,
So,
everyone has something.
This is not necessarily a ghost story, but an extraterrestrial story.
That works too.
All right.
First one on the podcast.
How red pill am I allowed to go on this?
As far as you want.
As
Please, as far.
Yeah.
We encourage red pill.
So, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start this story. I'm gonna condense it into 5 minutes. 5 minutes, right? I would say that's how much we have left.
Good.
Yeah, okay.
They give you extra time to talk about it.
So I had taken 4 grams of mushrooms.
That's awesome.
You triggered Matt.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa!
Mushrooms, where can I get those? I took 4 grams of mushrooms in New Mexico about a year and a half ago. And what was very different about this trip is it was the first trip that I was ever guided through by a shaman.
That's awesome. Yeah.
A very wise soul named Ruben, who I've encountered in many lifetimes before. I mean, in a matter of 12 hours, my whole life was again changed upside down.
Yeah.
That trip consisted of several of my friends, my family members, their higher selves actually coming to me in the trip, because I was under a blanket the whole time.
Wow.
Whoa.
Coming
That's wild.
to me in the trip and laying next to me.
That's awesome.
And giving me messages that I had to tell them. That I had to take from that trip, go back to my own home, and meet with them and tell them. The trip itself was guided by a very higher source.
Yeah.
And the voice continued to kind of go through my head throughout the entire experience. Like, okay, you've met this person, and they've told you what you need to tell them. Now the next person, they would kind of be there in the in-between states.
Yeah.
By the end of that experience, I had what's called a life review, where I basically reviewed my life from birth up into the moment where I consumed the mushrooms. The twist was from other people's experiences.
Wow.
That sounds just as scary as 100 years in the future.
Oh my god.
I saw my life, every moment of my life, even moments that I completely forgot about, from the perspective of my family and from my friends, and how they reacted to my emotions and my handling of certain situations. At the end of that life review, the voice or whatever higher power was inside of my head was saying, now you have to make a choice. And they said to me, you can either stay here and educate humanity about plants, unite people with plants and plant medicine, or what you can do is you can come with us and you can grow in a different facet. So I'm like, us? What are you talking about? Us? What am I supposed to do? Got up out of the blanket, stood up, and literally felt the life draining out of me.
Wow.
As if I was about to die.
Oh, jeez. Plants it.
Was walking around the facility. The shaman is looking at me because everyone else is pretty much done with their experience as of now. I'm walking around thinking to myself, what do I do? What do I do? Did I just decide subconsciously that I want to go wherever? Like, where is this going,
Yeah.
Within that moment, I thought of my life review, and I thought of my friends, I thought of my partner, I thought of my family, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to live this lifetime out. I'm going to educate people about plants and plant medicine, and then when it's over, I'll go somewhere else, wherever that is supposed to be. And in that instant moment, I instantly vomited up the medicine.
Wow.
Threw it up, fell to the ground, fell on my back, looked up, and there was 5 UFO craft hovering above me.
Whoa.
Looked over to the shaman, and the shaman was standing up there and was like, like, what the heck, man? Because if you go out in Arizona and New Mexico, man, those craft are all over the place. All over the place. Like, they look for, like, that desolate area, where, like, they... no one's there, no humanity's there, whatever. They pick up cattle or animals and they study them.
Yeah.
But they're here, man, and I've never had a paranormal experience, like, with otherworldly or interdimensional beings, but I have seen craft, and that is something that I advocate for, that even though we are in the darkest time of humanity, like, there is still hope out there, because there are other beings out there that are looking over humanity. So.
That's awesome.
That is
Okay, so is that like the shaman experience where the shaman's like, all right, let's do the mushrooms, and then like he does them as well with you?
Yes, he took
Wow.
them.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
he took them.
That's always
That's
the
wild.
big thing is that like when the shaman
Yeah.
does it with you for the guided, because I think even Vsauce.
Yeah, they do that with the ayahuasca and things
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
where they'll like take a cup of it, but they're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
keep drinking until you like either break down and cry or you like start vomiting and stuff like that,
Yes.
because that's where you actually hit
Yeah.
like that transcendent kind of like high.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, people hear this stuff and they're like, oh, was it just a hallucination? Like, those who have taken this medicine before know that it is probably the most realist experience that you will experience in your entire life. You know, what we're living in is an illusion.
But
You know,
it's ironic because like what you say in terms of like, oh, you were able to see from other people's perspective, that really does take some people a lifetime to do.
Yeah.
Like just recently something
moment of
happened.
death,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, just recently something happened with me where I was like, back in high school I was like a certain way, and then someone did something in like my current life that I was like, oh, like what the hell did they do that for? And then I reviewed and I was like, I've done that. Holy shit. I'm like, what the hell? and that moment of like, wow, from someone else's perspective, things are completely different or different ways and stuff.
Oh yeah, we're on all our own storybook.
Do you happen to have sleep paralysis by any chance?
I do.
Wow.
So that's
Boom.
the kick.
That's his boat.
Yeah, me too.
About 3 or 4 times a month.
Damn.
Whenever I fall asleep on my back,
Yeah.
I wake up and I look in the corner of my room and there's shadow figures.
Have you seen the Hat Man?
I have not seen the Hat Man.
Oh, okay,
no.
tell me when you do. I've seen it.
Okay, I will let you
that's-
know.
seriously.
Now I'm gonna see him.
You rascallion.
Yes, I have. I'm fascinated that I found somebody else who has that because I don't know how to talk to people about that because it's the most terrifying experience
Me
that
too.
I ever have.
Me too, big time. It's terrible. We had another person on this podcast, Amy. She's an actress from Scotland.
Yeah.
And basically, when I vibe like really well with someone, I usually find that they have sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And that's just been a thing like concurrently. I'm like, oh yeah, like we're getting super along. I'm like, do you happen to have sleep? They're always like, yeah.
It's a good question. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
geez. Even our friend Olivia, who's sitting off camera, when she came onto her podcast, she was like, yeah, like the hat guy. I was like, whoa, excuse me? Like Shadow Figure's hat guy? Wait a second.
Now the question is, what are they? Are they interdimensional beings? Are they dark entities that manifest in our consciousness?
Which is
are they?
Friendly cowboy.
I just keep seeing a naked cowboy from New York City. He comes into my room and says, howdy.
Says strumming on his guitar. His tiny whitey.
That's the Hat Man.
Dude, that's it.
I wish.
Yeah, I wish, right?
But from my experience, at first when I was looking into like the Hat Man and stuff like that, I actually right away wanted to make a movie about it because I wanted to take people's real experiences and like make like a mesh between reality and fiction in terms of a movie.
Like The Fourth Kind.
Yeah, like, kind of like that.
Yes, exactly.
So that's where I went to immediately, but it kept like settling down. I was like, yeah, whatever. But in Brazilian terms, the Hat Man and the Shadow Creatures are actually people checking up on you and watching over you instead of like this demonic entity.
Wow.
So in Brazil, when you see the Hat Man, it's someone basically checking to see how, like, oh, are they on the right track? Are they all right? And then they go.
Wow.
Which is such a different...
I always took it as if you have sleep paralysis, you have a light inside of you that something else wants.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have that light inside of you and you grow consciously, whether you realize it or not, we're all growing, you will experience more and more darkness the lighter that you get because there are certain forces that will try to pull you down with it. You know, which going back to horror movies, I kind of lost that touch because I'm like, well, what is this really benefiting humanity, you know? So it's interesting how a lot of people who are growing on this path definitely have experienced that, and you're not alone, and I'm not alone.
Yeah,
you know, there are hundreds of thousands of people that experience this daily. You know, luckily I don't have it every night, but I will get it several times a month.
Yeah, big time.
You know,
yeah, it's the same. The first time I had like that went out of body, which had never happened until I was like living here, literally a month or two ago. Yeah. I was laying down, I had sleep paralysis, and I was like, it feels really weird. I don't know what's going on, but I had this feeling of sitting up while knowing I'm still laying down. and I checked out the window, and I saw these people like running in front of the house and like having this conversation. And then I snapped, and I was still laying down.
You astro
And
projected.
I got up.
Yeah.
I went to the window, and they were walking by and having that conversation. And that was the first time that ever happened to me. I was like, whoa!
Do I have time to share one more quick thing?
Of course. Yeah.
So I was in the float tank. The flotation
Oh,
therapy.
the sensory deprivation.
So I used to work at a place. So I used to work at a flotation therapy place for about 2 years. I would float on and off. Compared to other employees, I never really I liked it. It never really was like my grasp on things. I always found I got a better meditation out of just doing it outside of it. So I was in the flotation therapy around like 6 a.m. It was before my 8 a.m. shift. And I went in there. I went in early, and I went into the float tank. And I'm sitting there for about an hour. And my manager usually walks in around 7 a.m. Even if I'm still in there, I would set an alarm, or he would turn the music on for me. And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, I'm outside of the float tank. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, this is really interesting. And I look down, and I have no body. Whoa. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the heck? After just dreaming, now I'm outside. It was very disorienting.
Yeah.
So I literally floated outside of the shower room, into the hallway, out, down the hallway, into the main office, and I saw my manager, Tim, working on his computer.
Yeah.
Jump back into my body instantaneously.
Whoa.
Another time a week later, same thing, into the shower area.
Yeah.
Floated all the way outside into the hallway, into the back parking lot. Looked down. It was morning, like the sun was rising. Had no feet, no body. Got sucked up into space.
Whoa.
To the point where I was literally looking at the planet and could see the sun rising from the corner of it. Jump back in my body. It's a real phenomenon. Astro projecting.
Yeah. What do you think of those experiences, though? Do you want to experience it, or do you have that
Oh, it's terrifying at first.
Yeah.
It is terrifying, but the more you experience it, the more accustomed you become to it, and the more eager you become to it. I realized because I've had several more after that, but it happens to me more when I'm not intentionally trying to do it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, especially lucid dreaming. I had one right before I drove here.
Wow.
I woke up. That's why I was late. I woke up late, and I was like, "Oh man, I just had the most intense dream possible." Where it's I'm literally awake in the dream. So it's intense.
There was this one time where I had sleep paralysis, and I don't know what was going on. It was such a weird experience, but I went to sleep, and I would experience a lifetime.
Wow.
And I would wake up, and it'd be 5 minutes. And at that point, I was like, it sounds weird, but I was begging to just wake up and be able to move. But then back into sleep, another 5 minutes, I experienced another lifetime. And I was like, please God, wake up. I want to wake up. I want to wake up.
Did they feel familiar when you were in them?
It was like if I had taken a certain path within this own life.
Whoa.
But, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Maybe it was a parallel universe.
Yeah. I have no clue, but it was just weird. I was just like, wow. I was like, wake up.
You're not crazy, man. I don't think you're crazy. People might think we're crazy, but I don't think you're crazy.
People think we're crazy. It's cool.
Content. It's okay. Hey, brings in views, right?
But crazy enough, that brings us to the end of the podcast. I just want you to plug all your stuff where people can find you on everything.
Sure, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. It's at Jack. JACK .T.Stanis. I posted a lot of plant information on there. I used to have an Instagram called Powerful Plant Allies, which transitioned into the YouTube channel. Yeah. So I kind of transitioned a lot of the information from there onto my own personal account. You can find me on YouTube by just typing in my name, Jack Stanis. Jack, Stanis. That's where all the films are. Film side of myself. And then if you want to check out the Powerful Plant Allies side of myself, just type in Powerful Plant Allies, and then that will pop up. I think that is it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll link all your stuff in the bio and stuff. Cool. And dude, it was great having you on. We gotta have you on another time.
Please,
this is fantastic.
It's just such a chill environment. Yeah,
I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
So after this, we're going to go to a post-podcast game. But thank you guys very much for watching. We really appreciate it. Once again, please check Jack out. Check out his channel. Check out his plant stuff. And just get into those stories because, you know, that part of your mind, you don't always think about. You don't always think about plants or all this different stuff.
Share your out-of-body experience.
Yeah, if you have something crazy or weird or that people would make you think you're crazy about, just comment below and just talk about it because, you know, it's an open environment. We're just having fun. So thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you next time.
Cool. Bye.
Take care.
Much love.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Space Zambonie post-podcast game. This time, it's an actual game.
Oh, my God, yes.
So, my name's Alex.
I'm Matt.
Jack. Zach.
So, today we have our very special guest on the podcast, as well as Zach, to play PT with us. If you guys aren't familiar, PT is a game that you can't get anymore unless you still have it on your console. Luckily enough, we have it, and Jack being a connoisseur of horror, we wanted him to dive into what is considered the scariest game ever.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So, on that note, computer, set gaming lights to red.
Okay.
Oh, man.
All right.
No. I'm walking in.
Yeah, it's all you.
Yeah, you can move around now. Ooh, it's spooky.
Instant spooky.
Oh, no.
So I'm just walking around.
Yeah.
As of now, yeah, correct.
You
Just set
definitely
the
gotta
mood.
do something.
Wait, why are the lights green already?
Whoa.
Usually it starts like you have a
Yeah,
few cycles.
it's bright and everything. That's wild. Yeah, where it looks all normal.
Yeah.
They're just throwing them right in.
Yeah, you're getting the full experience.
Yeah.
We've never gotten like green
No.
screen right off the bat.
Yep.
This is new.
Yeah,
this
this game
is
was
wild.
too scary to come out. That's all. It happened.
Man, this is buggy.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
See, we didn't have this conversation.
So is there another door I'm supposed to go through?
This is ultimate terror.
Yeah, this is true horror.
Yeah.
Going down a hallway that never
See,
ends.
like the feeling that I get when playing this game is what I've always tried to convey or hope to eventually convey in a movie where, like, you know, cinema lacks that. Where, like, I'm sitting here right now playing this game and I'm like, what is about to happen? You know, movies are very predictable now, unfortunately. Like, what the heck?
Oh, that's gonna be a big thing.
And see, that's the future of film. Is it's going to be VR like this?
Yeah.
And it's
Very
very,
interactive.
very,
I
very,
agree.
very scary. Like now the lights are changing. I'm bugging
Yeah.
out right now.
It's
Maybe
almost-
I'm supposed to go in here. Is this like? Am I gonna like jump out of my skin? Or
Maybe.
I played Outlast on VR,
Oh, that sounds awesome.
and we started playing. I think Visage.
Visage?
Oh!
But it was too scary.
I can't wait for that to come out.
Jack,
that looks really
Jack
cool.
saw the opening intro to that game, and he's like, "No, not playing this."
Wow.
No, I agree though, Jack. Like in terms of like ever creating something with horror, it's like you
Yeah.
want to convey this feeling of just like
Disturbed.
it's like weird
feeling.
dread.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
it's like a bad dream.
yeah,
Like
it's
a bad
like,
dream. Yeah, that eeriness that you feel in your stomach. You know, it's like it has not. I have not seen it yet today be conveyed in film like this.
Wow.
yeah. I think you may want to check out that bathroom next door
Yeah.
around.
That bathroom, you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. That
There's a little
bathroom's,
booby.
It's a booby?
Yeah.
What?
There's a little booby.
Why she drops the remote? He's like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
The bathroom's doing okay so far.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't like this.
There's a little glory hole on the wall.
Yeah. That's a really tiny glory hole though.
I don't know.
It's not real.
I don't see
That's
anything.
all you gotta
Good
think.
size.
I see that they stocked up prior to COVID. They actually
Yeah.
have toilet paper.
They have toilet paper. What the hell?
You're like,
A
what's
little
going on
fetus
there?
in
This
there.
is like the prequel to Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
That's
it's
so
a chest
weird.
booster.
I'm surprised that's there like
Oh.
now.
Oh.
There's the sounds.
Uh-oh. It's got a little spooky.
Oh.
Oh! Already? Yeah, I know. This is wild.
What does that mean? Already what?
Oh, look what's there!
Do I go for it?
Go for it!
Whoa.
Ah!
Oh man.
That's wild.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
I don't know why that freaked me out. I expected it.
Oh man.
Jesus.
Damn. Damn, that was crazy.
You guys
That was
think
pretty
this stuff
quick.
actually like happens in real life? You know?
I wouldn't want to think about that.
I know. I
happening
think we
in
just
real
had
life.
that conversation. I feel like things
see you
can
later.
happen.
Oh, there's somebody in the doorway. Peace out.
Yeah.
Oh.
See you later, ghost. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be like, remember the ghost and forget it forever.
Forget them forever. Remember them, heal by them, and then forget them. Oh man, I'm in a new location now. Okay.
I need an old priest and a young priest.
No, you're back at the beginning.
So is there something I did wrong?
You know what's really crazy about this is that every time you go through, it's different.
Yeah.
So when me and Matt beat this
Yeah.
once ever.
It's a nice
Yeah.
plant.
People don't even know exactly how to beat it.
No.
They think you have to talk to the microphone. You have to talk to the ghost. It's like a really weird. No one's really sure of how to do it.
Yeah.
That's a new movie, Talk to the Ghost.
Yeah.
The sequel. This would be the sequel then.
Yeah.
Ghost therapy.
Yeah. /5. Talk to the ghost.
Talk to them. Oh man, something's around this corner.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
it sounds like
now that we got
something's up.
spooked already, I'm actually
Maybe you
feeling
should check the
that.
bathroom.
Sense of dread.
Yeah, now I'm feeling the
You gotta
oof.
go check the toilet paper.
Yeah, well,
stuff.
it's upstairs. Is there something up there?
What's
Is there an
upstairs?
upstairs?
Oh boy. Oh.
Hey,
Oh.
that's a little more welcoming. That's a little more.
That's welcoming.
Yeah.
At least the lights
Hello.
on, right?
The lights are on.
The aristocrats.
Hey, who
A
turned on the
Serbian
lights?
film.
Oh my god.
The biggest spook is gonna be a tax auditor.
So
at
like
the
this is
end.
Oh
the
my
game.
God.
This is the game.
Show me your
Yeah,
taxes.
this is the game.
Yeah.
Like pushing the right stick after you do that.
Okay.
Like-
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, hold it. There
Hold
you
it?
go. Yeah, perfect. You got it.
Good? Or now hit that button again?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good. You collected that.
You now know Italian.
Yeah.
It just got like extremely dark now.
Yes. You unlocked Fratello Bambino. Is that an almond joy? No one likes almond joy.
Oh,
I
right
love
there.
almond joy. I'm super.
Oh no!
No.
That's a haunting hour.
Yeah, that's
again.
bad times.
Yeah. So when that
It's like
hits,
happy hour, but haunting hour.
Yeah. No free beers.
Yeah.
Oh, he's scared.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go around that corner.
You can do it. You got the
You got
power,
this.
Jay.
The willpower. Oh, I think you should go in the bathroom. It sounds like the sink song.
Actually does.
No, it's rain. It's the rain.
oh.
It.
I thought
Booga
you-
booga.
Yeah.
Just go like as quick as you can through the hallway a few times.
Yeah, if you see a ghost, turn around.
Yeah, if you see a ghost, then just fucking go the other way. Like real life. If you see a ghost, turn around.
Yeah. See a ghost, fuck that.
The suspense is killing me, man.
Yeah. It's okay now. It's still, and it didn't do that weird thing too with the eyes. And
Yeah,
the
no,
red.
it hasn't changed like the picture frames or anything where all the eyes are looking at you.
I don't think you should turn around.
I think you should turn around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There she is.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
All right, guys. Let's end this on a high note.
Oh man.
Ghost embrace
Ah,
me.
she's gone.
What?
She
She's
disappeared.
behind me. No. 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 Maybe. Hello.
Yikes.
Oh.
Maybe to the right.
Ghosty baby.
Up, she disappeared.
Hurry down the
That's
chimney
wild.
tonight.
She's just like, I'll shake for you a little bit.
She wasn't ready
Okay.
to end it.